We've got this fruit nut sourdough on our menu, and as long as I can remember, the fruits and the nuts have been cranberries and walnuts. We haven't really changed it up amongst everything else we had going on, but the reason we called it fruit and nut was to change the fruits and nuts from time to time. Well, one thing that we are trying is something, this is a very unique combination. I've never used peaches in this bread. We've done raisins as the fruit, grapes. Done other fruits. We've used currants in hot cross buns. Never used dried peaches for anything before. So giving it a go. The inspiration for peach pecan was for the Peach Bowl. It's a football game that is coming up very soon. I think it's actually being held here in town, which is, we wanted to try this bread for that leading up to that day and see if people would enjoy it. And if it turns out nice, I think it would make a great summertime flavor. So we'll kind of get a test out of it as well. So we're going to do this initial very small batch. I've got some country sourdough waiting to accept inclusions. And I've got some diced peaches that I'm adding water to soak them. I added a little too much. That's more like it. What we've noticed with all fruits that's dried is by hydrating it, even if it's only 20, 30 minutes ahead of the mix, you end up with more flavor in the final loaf. The water also takes on the flavor of the peach. The water spreads out evenly in your loaf, and actually the rehydrated fruit is softer and tends to permeate as a flavor in the loaf better than just dried fruit does. So that's just a quick tip. You might notice in the background that somehow that wall is no longer the FRP backing. So you go from pure white to the brick. You might wonder what's going on. Also, the wall has a cut from the interior side preparing to be knocked out. We have new support beams as well to prop up this wall. That will be installed as soon as the wall comes out. And there's going to be a new roll-up door installed here. That's actually for the mill in particular. It's so that when we reload those buckhorn containers, we don't have to come down this hallway to do so. In an ideal world, this whole hallway leading to where the buckhorn containers live on the other side of the warehouse would have free passage the whole time, but that's not practical when there's a sink in between, when there's all kinds of objects that are floating between these rooms. So rather than fight the nature of this space on a regular basis, it goes from being something that you can't do, and thus you end up having to load the mill by hand, to something that you can do at almost any interval with the roll-up door. So we found that to be a worthwhile investment. Beyond that, we have some big equipment in here between the mill and the mixers, and it'll be nice to be able to go in and out if needed for service or for anything else right out of this room, rather than making our way through a warehouse that's getting more and more use by the minute, it seems. I'm gonna add some pecan halves on top. Not so worried about soaking these, so they'll go on top of the soaked fruit. And I'll just put the prepared mixture on this bin, and we'll fold it into the dough once the fruit has soaked a little bit longer, probably about 20 minutes from now. It's easiest to score your loaves when they're cold. We eat with our eyes first.
You have to understand your audience enough to be able to say, like, I'm going to be charging a lot of money for my super crazy cool thing, or it's so cool and so creative that only you can do it, and then you don't stand a chance of scaling it.
Let's go over what it's like to build a bakery from one person to many. All right, so I'm finishing up this experiment now, carving out a little bit of space on the table. Now, we won't have a full bread until tomorrow, of course, but we are going to finish up the dough at least. So I'm going to take the pecans, which were dry, and put them right on top. And right below I have my peaches that have now soaked in the water. So no real extra water came out. The peaches did a good job absorbing. And now I'm going to do my standard inclusion process. If you haven't seen how we do this, I think one of our most watched videos from back in the garage days was something like mixing with inclusions, showing you this process of folding them in, where you can use one dough and make many different breads from it. Because ultimately, how much does your base dough vary? Just flour, water, salt, right? So are you going to make a whole new base dough for like a 2% variance when you're just trying to build a bread, let's say, that has fruits and nuts? I'd say no. You can use probably one of your base doughs that you're making plain bread from, say country sourdough in this case. So this is our country sourdough formula that then makes a number of other breads. So we have the base dough in the bins, and then we can fold in inclusions. So the benefit of folding in inclusions is that you can get many breads from one dough. I basically added all the inclusions in a neat layer, kneaded them in, and now I'm folding them into layers, sort of kind of like you laminate croissant dough. Now I have layers of inclusions in this dough, and we're going to come back and fold it 2 more times. During that period, the inclusions will spread out even more evenly. So I've now folded the dough enough that they're starting to even break the top layer of dough. That's where I know to kind of leave them alone. So I'll come back and fold this a couple more times before we shape it into bread. Now it can just join the rest of the bins that we're folding for today's doughs. Are there any first folds that I can join? Awesome.